They played like two teams with everything to prove, and in the end, the scoreboard didn't reward the prettier performance so much as the team that kept finding ways to get the job done. On Thanksgiving at AT&T Stadium, Dak Prescott put on a clinic, and the Dallas Cowboys edged the Kansas City Chiefs 31-28 in a game that will be replayed for weeks for the late drama and the fallout after. Rotors, from the jump, it felt like a heavyweight bout. Patrick Mahomes still did Mahomes things. He finished with 4 touchdown passes and kept Kansas City within striking distance almost every time the Cowboys built a little breathing room. But Prescott, quiet, efficient, and dangerous, finished with 320 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, and he hit the throws you need to win the game in crunch time. When your quarterback turns a clutch moment into a routine, that's the kind of night that flips narratives. Reuters, this wasn't a breakdown of superstar play, it was a lesson in margins. The Chiefs started strong and at one point led late, but penalties and missed chances crept into their ledger, and Mahomes himself didn't sugarcoat it afterward. At the end of the day, you just got to win every game and hope that's enough, he said bluntly, laying out the reality. Their margin for error has evaporated, and the Chargers, Broncos, and the rest of the AFC are waiting. If Kansas City wants to stay in the dance, Mahomes made clear, they have to start turning nearly every opportunity into a win. Yahoo Thetao. What makes the loss sting is how small the misses were. The Chiefs were flagged heavily and stung by penalties that pushed them off rhythm. They also left plays on the field that in other weeks would have been converted. Rashee Rice was a bright spot, hauling in 2 touchdowns and finishing with 92 yards, but individual flash doesn't erase collective slippage. You felt that in the fourth quarter when Mahomes carved out opportunities, but the Cowboys' late defense and the clock ultimately shut the door. ESPN.com for Kansas City's fan base, the vibe is different now than it was at the start of the season. This team is not imploding, but it's not cruising either. Mahomes' message was stark and honest. Win every game from here on out and hope tiebreakers and luck line up. That's not a rallying cry so much as a timetable. When your superstar is forced to speak in ultimatums, we got to be better at execution. Penalties killed some drives. You know the scoreboard and the calendar are breathing down the franchise's neck. Clutch points. On the Cowboys side, this win felt like more than 3 points in the standings. It was a reminder that a well-oiled offense that can strike vertically and sustain drives can punch above its weight. Prescott hit CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens when it mattered. Lamb's 112 yards and Pickens' explosive plays were the kind of production that decide close games. And when your offense moves the ball late and your defense forces just enough stops, you walk away with a Thanksgiving turkey and momentum. Reuters game moments linger. Prescott's 11-play, 68-yard touchdown drive to open the fourth felt like an answer to Mahomes' earlier heroics, a slow, methodical takedown rather than a single-play highlight. That kind of drive is the invisible work teams point to when they claim they're built for November. When your quarterback can extend plays, pick his spots, and trust his receivers to finish, you don't need miracles. You need consistency. Prescott supplied it. Reuters lagged. And yet, the Chiefs aren't finished. They're a dangerous team with a quarterback who can flip games in 2 plays. But Mahomes' clarity after the loss is a small alarm bell. Complacency won't get it done. We're going to play a lot of good football teams coming up, he said, and that's not motivational fluff. It's the scheduling reality. Every slip now compounds, and Kansas City's path to the postseason will require near-perfect execution over the remaining weeks. Yahoo Thetao. There's a human angle to the urgency, too. Seasons get decided in halves and moments. An unnecessary penalty, a dropped catch, a false start at the wrong time. These are the tiny acts that accumulate into a narrative. The Chiefs' penalty total and a handful of missed conversions were the grain of sand that ground what should have been a smoother outcome into a loss. Mahomes can carry you far, but even he needs the margin, the line, and the rest of the offense supply. Arrowhead Pride. So what happens next? For Dallas, it's momentum. A Thanksgiving win is emotional and practical, and it moves them into a better spot with belief renewed. For Kansas City, the message is operational and urgent. Clean up penalties, tighten execution, and start stacking wins. Mahomes' words Win every game and hope that's enough are an admission of pressure that's as real as any fourth quarter clock. It's the kind of honesty that can turn into motivation or it can turn into desperation. How the Chiefs respond this week will tell us which. Clutch points. If you want the image to live with you, picture the final sequence. Two elite quarterbacks trading blows, the stadium a pressure cooker, and a winning team that managed to make the last few plays add up while the other team left small margins on the table. That's what defined this Thanksgiving game, and why Mahomes' message after the loss landed like a warning more than a lament. The season narrowed in one short night, and both teams walked out knowing the road forward just got a lot more urgent. Reuters. Patrick Mahomes didn't mince words after a wild Thanksgiving tilt in Arlington. The Chiefs lost 31-28 to the Cowboys, and he made it clear the team's margin for error is gone. Clean up the mistakes, stop the penalties, and win every game from here on out. CBS News, Mahomes still put up big numbers, multiple touchdown passes, and the kind of late-game heroics that have defined his career, but Kansas City self-inflicted too many wounds. The Chiefs were flagged repeatedly and repeatedly, put themselves in long yardage or short field spots, and Mahomes singled out penalties and execution as the season-long culprits that keep costing them games. ESPN.com Dallas rode a steady, clutch performance from Dak Prescott. He finished with over 300 yards passing and made the plays when the moment demanded them, and a few late officiating possession swings helped flip the ledger in the Cowboys' favor. Still, the underlying fact for Kansas City is the same. When you hand opponents extra opportunities and don't execute in the margins, even a superstar quarterback can't erase every mistake. CBS News Mahomes' message was tactical and blunt. We got to execute at a higher level, and penalties killed some drives. That's stuff that we got to be better at, he said, and then turned the season goal into a one-line battle plan. Win every game and hope that's enough. That's not optimism so much as a math problem. At 6'6", there's no room for moral victories or gradual fixes. Arrowhead pride. Practically, that means fewer mental mistakes, quicker cleanup in the trenches, and a refusal to let officiating or bad breaks become the headline. The upcoming schedule hands Kansas City a mix of winnable and dangerous matchups. Mahomes' demand, play like it's a must-win every week, is the only feasible roadmap back into serious playoff contention. ESPN.com bottom line. The Chiefs quarterback sent a simple, urgent message. The team has to execute, eliminate self-inflicted wounds, and treat every remaining game as do or die. Words won't fix penalties or missed assignments. The only way to answer them is with cleaner play and wins. Arrowhead pride.